Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that might just completely change how you think about meditation, especially if you're one of those people who's tried it and thought, this just isn't for me. We're looking at a method from the late Daniel P. Brown, rooted in the ancient Mahamudra tradition that really flips the script. All right, so let's just get this out of the way. When you picture a meditator, what do you see? Probably someone sitting perfectly still on a cushion for like an hour, right? Well, today, we're going to blow that idea right out of the water and show you why, for a beginner, that might be the worst advice you could possibly get. Yeah, this is what I call the marathon myth. It's this idea we all seem to have that longer equals better when it comes to meditation. But what if that's the very thing that's making us fail? What if trying to sit for a long time is precisely why we give up? So, think about it. What happens when you force yourself to sit way past the point where you can actually focus? You know that feeling, right? Your mind is just gone. Well, instead of training your attention, you end up training something else entirely, something not so helpful. And this is where Daniel P. Brown just hits the nail on the head. When you're just white-knuckling it, trying to push through the exhaustion, you're not practicing awareness. You're practicing being tired and distracted. You're literally getting better at being tired. Think about that for a second. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? Our intention is to train awareness, but the actual result is we're training ourselves in tiredness. We want to build focus, but we end up practicing distraction. It's no wonder that, as Daniel P. Brown put it, we develop a progressive phobia of meditating. We actually start to dread the very thing that's supposed to help us. Okay, so if sitting for ages is the problem, then what's the fix? Well, this is where the Mahamudra tradition offers this beautifully simple and honestly kind of radical solution. It's designed to set you up for success right from the get-go. Yep, you're reading that right. A complete, totally valid, high-quality meditation session can last for just one single mindful breath. Inhale. Exhale. Done. That's your practice. The whole goal is just to make that one breath as focused and clear as you possibly can. And look, this isn't some new age hack. This is ancient wisdom, coming from masters like the ninth Karmapa in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The advice is basically this: start with one good breath. When you've got that down, maybe you extend it to the time it takes to, well, milk a cow, which is really just a few minutes. The key idea is to do many short, sharp, high-quality sessions all through your day. So this approach means we have to totally flip the script on how we measure progress. It's time to ditch the stopwatch, throw it out the window, and start using a new metric, one that's all about the quality of your attention, not the quantity of time on the clock. Here it is. This is the only metric that really matters. It's not about minutes, it's about the percentage of time you're actually focused. Look, when we're starting out, we're probably down here, less than 50% focused. And that's totally fine. The goal isn't to sit longer, it's to get this focus bar up to 80, 90, maybe even 100%, even if the whole session is just 30 seconds long. And that becomes the new goal. It changes everything, doesn't it? It's not about endurance, it's about excellence. It's not about how long you can force yourself to sit, but how clearly you can be present for the time you do sit. And you know what's really cool? When you start focusing on quality like this, the whole experience changes. It stops being this chore you have to get through, and it actually becomes something you look forward to. So how do we make sure each of these little sessions really counts? Well, you do a quick warm-up. In psychology, they call it cue-induced learning. It's just like a basketball player shooting a few hoops before a game. This little routine, getting your posture right, setting your intention, it's a signal. It tells your brain, okay, it's go time. So you can drop into a quality state of mind fast. And by doing this consistently every single time, you start to build this amazing momentum. You stop feeling like you're starting from scratch. Instead, you're building on the last session. And that is the secret to making the practice stick. And, dare I say, actually making it enjoyable. So ultimately, this whole thing boils down to this one simple, powerful question. What would change if you saw meditation not as an endurance test, but as a series of short, quality moments of clarity that you can actually look forward to? That simple shift, that changes the entire game. And it can start with your very next breath. So this powerful approach, bringing together ancient Tibetan wisdom with what we now know about psychology and how our brains learn, it just gives us such a clear and doable path. It honors the tradition's depth, but it meets us right where we are. And it proves that the most profound practice can begin with just one single perfect breath.